It's midnight inside Hospital 601 in Damascus. A Syrian military police photographer, known to us only by the codename Caesar, is secretly copying 55,000 photographs of human corpses. Each body has a sequential number written on it. Each has a falsified cause of death attached, things like cardiac arrest. But this isn't a battlefield. This is a state-run, administrative death processing hub. And the evidence of what's happening here is currently being smuggled out in the dark. What we're looking at today is a dossier that maps out the physical infrastructure and the chain of custody of a state-sponsored human trafficking and death network. We're going to trace the precise, documented logistics that connect the Assad regime's detention centers directly to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hezbollah, and global trafficking syndicates. Act 1. The Factory. Syydnaya and Hospital 601. We need to drop right into the epicenter of this atrocity, Saydnaya Military Prison and Hospital 601. You have to understand, these were not just detention centers. They were industrial-scale processing facilities, built to extract maximum leverage from human lives. Syydnaya itself operated on a strict four-color internal system. The white section was considered the 5-star tier. If you've seen a survivor released to the world, they came from here. Then you have the blue section. This serves strictly as the execution chamber. The red section got its literal name in 2008, when prisoners were forced to paint the walls with the blood of executed inmates. And finally, the black section, a classified zone dedicated entirely to dark web live streaming. The regime didn't hide its work from itself. It documented its own killings with meticulous institutional precision. If we look at the branch numbering system captured in Caesar's photographs, we see that each process body was assigned a security branch number in a sequential digit. That number is a direct signature of the killer, inscribed right on the victim's flesh. They created an airtight internal administrative record of murder while stamping falsified causes of death on the public forensic paperwork. And this isn't speculation. The Caesar photographs have been fully authenticated by FBI forensic experts. International prosecutors looking at this archive have stated that it provides irrefutable forensic-level evidence, evidence that is stronger than what was presented against the Nazis at Nuremberg. Medical analysts reviewing these images also identified post-mortem signs consistent with systematic organ removal. Act 2. The Pipeline. Child Identity Erasure. Now, we shift our focus from the adult victims in the prison system to the systematic seizure and trafficking of their children. This wasn't a chaotic byproduct of war. It was a cold, operationalized tool of the state. The regime managed a pipeline designed to erase children's identities, operating in 4 distinct steps. Step 1. A child is seized at a military checkpoint the exact moment their parents are arrested. Step 2. They're transferred to a transit facility called Lahan Al-Hayat, where their names and surnames are systematically altered. Step 3. They are placed into SOS children's villages under that new falsified identity. And step 4, extraction through international channels. The contrast between the public facade of this operation and the covert reality is jarring. Lahan Al-Hayat was overseen directly by Syria's First Lady, Asma al-Assad. She maintained a very public image as a caring mother figure, but behind closed doors, she personally supervised a facility classified as a military zone. Inside, the Ministry of Social Affairs embedded supervisors whose sole job was to permanently strip these children of their names. In one documented case, an intelligence officer took a 1-month-old Sunni baby and gave it a Shia name as a deliberate sectarian provocation right before moving the child into the humanitarian cover of the SOS children's villages. The extraction phase is where this pipeline crosses borders. Documented intelligence confirms a stark reality. A state-level diplomatic actor, specifically a Russian ambassador, personally extracted children directly from the SOS Children's Villages orphanage. This is proof that international extraction routes were actively utilized at the highest levels of diplomacy. When the regime fell, the intelligence records left behind delivered a cold set of numbers. 320 children were confirmed missing through this pipeline. Only 14 have been found and reunited with their families. 104 remain completely untraced. The identity erasure operation worked exactly the way it was designed to. Act 3. The Global Network. State Logistics. Let's follow the logistics and the money as it moves outward from the Syrian facilities to international state actors and the dark web. This atrocity was highly networked. A signed UN Commission of Inquiry report confirmed the transfer of roughly 200 Syrian detainees. They were transported on Iranian military aircraft directly to Imam Khomeini Hospital in Tehran between 2018 and 2022. This is a formally documented state-level transport operation for medical procedures. It cements the structural role of external states in moving human bodies across borders. Parallel to those physical transfers was a thriving digital marketplace. Official documents confirm that inside Saydnaya's classified black prison, torture was being live-streamed to global audiences. Viewers paying on the dark web directed the perpetrators in real time. They specified methods, they specified targets, and they paid thousands of dollars per session in untraceable cryptocurrency. The prison system was generating its own sovereign revenue stream. These operational zones connected directly to elite networks outside the country. Inside Saydnaya, the IRGC maintained highly compartmentalized control zones, kept hidden even from Russian advisors, just to manage sensitive operations. When you look outward at the logistical ties of these elite buyer networks, it's a matter of record. Department of Justice files document Jeffrey Epstein meeting Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in New York. On top of that, an Iran-connected private jet broker coordinated Epstein's flights for 4 years. The structural ties between these state proxies and elite networks are documented fact.
You might wonder why there isn't more public data on this. But in this world, the absence of evidence is an operational feature. It's not a failure. We're analyzing covert operations executed by highly resourced state actors. The systematic destruction of records, the burning of files right before UN inspections, the reliance on untraceable cryptocurrency, these are the exact signatures you expect to see in a sophisticated, functioning cover-up.
Act 4. The Reckoning. The Accountability Layer.
Despite the burned files and the erased names, mechanisms of accountability do exist today, and they are actively moving into position. History actually provides a forensic blueprint for this. The child identity erasure tactics we see from the Syrian regime are a direct mirror to those used by the Argentine military dictatorship between 1976 and 1983. In both cases, the state forcibly separated children from detained parents, destroyed their documentation, and hid them in state-aligned institutions under false names. Because the crime pattern is identical, the solution is now being exported. Argentina's Abuelas de Plaza de Mayo spent 40 years recovering stolen children using advanced genetic tracking. Today, they're deploying that exact DNA recovery methodology to Syria. It's a purely scientific approach that completely bypasses the Syrian regime's intentionally destroyed paper trails. They're matching surviving children directly to their living relatives through biology, rather than relying on falsified documents. The accountability layer is active. Right now, there are 354 active criminal cases across 9 different countries moving to prosecute these atrocities, from universal jurisdiction cases filed in Argentina to trials being monitored in Germany, France, and the Netherlands. The legal machinery is slowly but surely processing the surviving evidence. The infrastructure of the crime has been mapped. The chain of custody is documented. But the final question we have to leave you with is this. As the accountability layer confronts global geopolitical protection, will the network of state actors, Russia, China, France, neutralize the evidence before it reaches the top?